Okay, so in yesterday's session, we have seen about child windows, frames, uploading images and cookies. Okay, uh, so in today's session, we'll see about this how to disable the push notifications and how to accept insecure certificates and also synchronization. Okay, so let us go into this push notifications. So what are these push notifications? Okay, so generally, like whenever you whenever you open sometimes, like when you open the websites, you will see these kind of notifications, like will you allow the site to send notifications, allow notifications, or like not now, these kind of notifications we will see generally. Okay, this won't happen like always, but sometimes for with some of the sites that you'll see these notifications. Even I'm not sure, like if I can show you any site. For example, let me open this redbus.in itself and see, like if we are able to see this one. Okay, redbus.in. I'm not getting like any notification at this moment, but sometimes you see these kind of notifications, if you remember. Okay, but I'll show you, like how to whenever, like these kind of notifications pop up, our scripts will fail because first we have to close this notification, then only the scripts will work. Okay, so let us see, like how to do this one. Okay, so generally, like for whenever, like these kind of notifications pop up, we have something called, like for Chrome we have Chrome options. Okay, and for Firefox we have Firefox options to disable these kind of notifications. Okay, so we have to use these Chrome options or Firefox options to disable these kind of notifications. Okay, this Chrome options, it is a class you can use to customize and configure a Chrome session. Okay, so before creating a web browser itself, okay, we will use this Chrome options class to customize the browser that we are going to open. Okay, we'll say that, okay, don't open, like don't allow any of these notifications. That's what we will say. Okay, so how do we do this one? Okay, since this is a Chrome options class, okay, we'll say that Chrome option, will create an object for the Chrome options first, saying like Chrome options ops is equal to new Chrome options, and we'll use a setting here, ops dot add arguments. Okay, and then disable hyphen disable hyphen notifications. Okay, this is what we use. Okay, and then while creating the WebDriver object, okay, we will pass this Chrome options object to the Chrome driver. Okay, so it will create a browser object. It will create a browser by taking these settings that we have done on this Chrome options object. Okay, and then again, like it will be same. Okay, let me show you that one. If you know any site, like that will give this kind of notifications, then we can do that. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me go here. Okay, let me open a new class here, and the class is, let's say, push notifications. I'm saying push notifications and public static void main push notifications. Okay, let me take the first 4 lines of this one, Control C, and then we have this one. Okay, so let me use this redbus dot in here, redbus dot in. Okay, let me open redbus dot in. Okay, redbus dot in I am opening. I'm entering, like something. Okay, so now it is showing these notifications. Okay, hello or blah. Okay, let me try to enter something here using script. Okay, like it is showing this one. Redbus dot in is showing, like some notification. This is the push notification I am talking about. Okay, show notifications hello or blah. Okay, so let me identify this element here. Okay, if we see this element, it is showing the ID is source. Okay, let us create an XPath for this one. Okay, this is an input tag, input shift at the rate ID equals to source. Okay, we are able to identify this one. Okay, Control C, and I'm saying driver dot find element by dot XPath. Okay, dot send case. I'm saying like some Hyderabad. Okay, from Hyderabad. Okay, similarly, let us identify this one as well. Then and okay, so this is the ID is destination here, DEST. Okay, let me create an XPath for this one. Okay, so this is destination. Okay, now if I go here, driver dot find element by dot XPath, and the ID is destination dot send keys. Okay, let us say Bangalore. Okay, let me see, like, what it is, BNG, okay, BNGLURU, okay, Bangalore. Okay, so we have entered like Hyderabad and Bangalore, and we have to click on this search buses. Okay, so ID is search underscore button is there. Okay, so we use, and the tag is button, so button shift at the rate ID is equal to search underscore button. Okay, let me copy this one. Driver dot find element by dot XPath. Okay, done. Okay, so this is what our script is. Okay, this script should work generally, but let us say, like, because of this notification, it will fail. Basically, let me show you this one. I'm just running this one. Run as Java application. Okay, yeah, actually, like, it's not showing this uh, push notification here, but that's why, like, it is working actually. Okay, let me see, like, even though it is clicking, it is not working because we have to select these things. I just wanted to show you that, like, this will fail because it is showing a push notification. Okay, but right now in our actual testing, like, it's not showing any push notification. That's why it is working fine here. Okay, but generally when it shows a, okay, let me do one thing. Okay, instead of this red bus start in, let me see if I enter. Yeah, we are entering this correctly. https redbus.in. Not sure. Like, actually, when we manually do it, like, it is showing the push notification. So I thought, like, it will show the push notification when we run the script also. Okay, but it's not showing. That's why it is working. But generally, when we open the site, if it shows a push notification, let me put a thread.sleep here and see thread.sleep of 3000 milliseconds. And let us see, like, if this will give any push notification. No, it is still not giving, like, any push notification here. Okay, so that's why, like, your script, the script is working. Yeah, but generally, like, whenever we get a push notification, it will fail here. Okay, because first we have to work with the push notification. Okay, but I'll show you, like, how to work with that one. Okay, so for Chrome driver, we have something called Chrome options. Okay, so this one is like, before opening this URL, Okay, before setting up like this property and everything, okay, we will use Chrome options, CO, or like you can say options equals to, okay, let me import this one, import this Chrome options, import Chrome options, okay, from Selenium, and equals to new Chrome options. Okay, this is the object we have to create first. Once we create the object, then we have to add an argument disable notifications. We have to remember this one. Okay, this is for disabling the push notifications. Okay, we'll say options dot add argument. Okay, in double quotes, we'll say disable. Okay, notifications. Okay, disable notifications. Once you add this one, so we have to pass this Chrome options object for this Chrome driver. That's it. Okay, you have to do these three things. First, create an Chrome options object and add an argument to the Chrome options object with disable notifications, which will disable the push notifications for this one, and then pass that one to this driver object. Okay, so that whenever you open the site, it won't show you any push notifications. Okay, do you guys understand this one or any questions? Simple one. Okay, but sometimes like whenever you see those kind of like push notifications, you may have to use this one. Okay, any questions here so far? Everyone?
No, clear, Subbu.
Yeah, okay, very this is simple one. Okay, yeah, so this is how we have to sorry, we have to work with like push notifications. Okay, let me go into here. Okay, similarly for push notifications in Firefox, for Firefox also we have something called Firefox options. Okay, so for that one, first we'll create a Firefox options object, and then for Firefox it is ffo.add preference is there, add preference, and then dom.web notifications dot enabled false. This is what we have to add it to the Firefox object, Firefox options object, and then we have to pass that one to the Firefox driver creation. Okay, here we are creating. So just try this one also. These two statements are for Firefox. Okay, so this is about disabling push notifications in Firefox. Okay. So now let us see the next one. Okay, accept insecure certificates. Okay, sometimes whenever like you open the browser, you will see something like this, like your connection is not private. Okay, for this one, what you can do is like we are already so we have this localhost slash Selenium practice slash index is there, right? So this is an without certificate we are running this site. Okay, but with certificate, if you want to run it, I can paste this one, but use HTTPS here. HTTPS, that means with certificate. But we don't have any certificate installed like in the XAMPP. So once you like enter this one, then you will see this one. This for practice purpose, you can do this one. Okay, it will show you the message that your connection is not private. Whenever you see this message, generally what we will do, we will go to this advanced section and then proceed to localhost. We'll click on this one. Okay, so that it will go to this one. Similarly, like even car rental site also, if you see this one, HTTPS. Okay, first without like this secure one, let us access the car rental one. HTTP colon localhost slash car rental. Okay, once you open this one, this is how it appears. But if you use like a HTTPS, okay, secured URL, then you will see this is not, it should show you like the insecure certificate, but initially since we have accepted that one, it is showing that like it is it is accessing this site directly. Okay, because initially we have gone through that advanced one and this one, so it is showing you this one, but generally it won't show you this one also. Okay, so let us see this one. Okay, so let me go into this. Let me open new class. Okay, and secured certificates. Okay, public static void main. Okay, so now let me copy this couple of lines here. Okay, so I'm just removing this Chrome options object that we have created earlier. Okay, so in this one, what we'll do is we'll say HTTP colon local host slash, let me copy our site from here. Okay. Sorry. Okay, and then thread dot sleep. Okay. Add throws declaration. Okay, fine. Okay, so it will open the normal without HTTPS. I'm opening this one first. Okay, and let me enter some name into this text box. Let me inspect this one. Okay, and then we have ID is equal to first name, Control C, Control F, forward slash input. Okay, shift at the rate ID equals to. Okay, this is my export. Let me copy this one and let me go here and then driver dot find element by dot export. Okay, dot send keys. Let's say hello, something. Okay, this is what I'm working on. Okay, if I run this one, this works perfectly fine now. Okay, let me finally Control C, Control V. I'm waiting for 2 seconds before entering the name and also after entering the name. And finally, I'm seeing driver dot quit. Okay, let me run this one. Okay, so it entered that one. Now let me use this HTTPS. Okay, HTTPS, and let us see how it works. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, see now it is showing that your connection is not private. This message it is showing. That is why your script is failing. Okay, so you got this one, right? So your script is failing here because it is showing your connection is generally this happens whenever we are using HTTPS on the server, they will install a certificate. Okay, if that certificate is expired or if it couldn't find that certificate, then it will give this error saying that your connection is not private. Okay, so whenever you may face this kind of issues sometimes. So whenever you face these kind of issues, we have to get out of this one. Okay, before working on the script, before entering any elements on the script. And if you don't do that one, you will see your script will fail, saying that no such element exception, because it is not able to find this element. Basically this input ID is equal to first name. So again for this one we have to use Chrome options only. Okay, so for that one we have let us Chrome options are Firefox options only we have to use. Okay, so for this one again we use Chrome options. Let's say I'm using options. Okay, equals to new Chrome options. Okay, new Chrome options. Let me import this class Okay, import Chrome options. Okay, and then once this is done, we have to use a specific setting on this one called set OPS. Sorry, this is options, right? Options dot set. Okay, set accept. See this one, set accept insecure sets. Okay, and we have to pass a boolean expression here, either true or false. Boolean accept insecure sets. Okay, so I'm saying accept the insecure certificate. Okay, and then you have to pass this Chrome options object to this Chrome driver object that we are creating here. Okay, now if I run this one, it should work fine. Okay, so now it is working. Even though it is HTTPS, it is saying that it is not secure, but it opened the page and it proceeded further. Okay, so for accepting the insecure certificates, we have to use again the Chrome options or Firefox options, and again this is options that we have to set this one options dot set accept insecure certificates. Okay, we have to make it true. Even for I think like Firefox also, it will be the same option that we'll be having. Okay, so let me open this one, accept insecure certificates. Okay, so how to accept insecure? Sometimes you will see the insecure certificate error message. Then you run your automation scripts. You need to handle them for your automation scripts to proceed. Okay, so for Chrome, it is like a Chrome option. So we have to create a new object. Okay, and then we have to set this set accept insecure sets true. Okay, and for Firefox, it is again it is the same thing. We have to create an object for Firefox options, and again it is the Firefox options object dot set accept insecure sets true. Okay, try this one from outside. Okay, this is for Firefox options. Okay, so this is about accepting insecure certificates. Okay, any questions on this one so far? We have seen two things. One is push notifications and another one is accepting insecure certificates. Okay, these two things we have to do it with the options class. Okay, okay, now earlier it was like, okay, yeah. So if you see this one, generally in Google Chrome, it is when you are running the automation scripts, it will display something like this. Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. Okay, you won't see it if you manually do it, but when you are doing it with Google, Selenium, Google Chrome will show you this one. Especially Chrome is being controlled by automation test software. Earlier there was an option within Selenium even to disable this one also, but Google later modified this one, and you cannot disable this one. Okay, it will show this not pop-up, this notification bar on the screen. Okay, so this will always display, and we cannot disable this one. Okay, now that is about insecure certificates. Okay, let's go into some interview questions in this one. Okay, so how do you
So,
move? Yeah.
one question in you have shown the options when the script fails, right? Um, is
Mm-hmm.
there any scenario where we enter username and password like login credentials, and we
Mm-hmm.
press login button and Chrome window element asks, would you like to save the password in the top right hand side corner? And does that normally fails the script
Oh, okay, okay.
any
Generally, like it will ask the browser will ask
to
for
save the
saving the
password?
password, right? But
Yeah,
generally in the
yeah.
automation scripts, I have never seen that one. Browser
Okay,
asking for saving the passwords or anything. Okay,
okay,
but if I'll check that one as well, because I haven't faced that situation so far in the automation scripts. Whenever, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, I'm getting what you are saying. Generally, when
okay.
we enter the passwords, generally the browser asks you. Uh, to see like whether it can save the password or not, right?
Hmm.
Okay, that one also will come under only like push notifications only generally.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
when you use push notifications like the Chrome option or Firefox option that we have discussed, hyphen disabled notifications for
Okay. That
Chrome,
disables
yeah,
which.
that will disable that push notification also. Okay,
Okay.
but yeah, I got what you're saying, but I'll check that one because I have never seen that like in the actual automation script, but I will check that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll check that one. Okay.
Thank you.
So now coming to the interview questions on the actions class. Okay. So the question will be something like how do you move your mouse pointer to a particular position? Okay. So what do we do? Like for working with mouse operations, we use actions class. Okay. So first we'll create an object for the actions class, and then on the object we use the move to element method. Okay. And move to element, and we'll provide the element. Okay, driver.find element method we use, and I will provide that element. And then finally we have to use build.perform. Remember this one, I did this mistake a lot of times. Okay, I used this one a.move to element, and then I used to like provide this element, and you know but like I was seeing like this is not working, why it's not working. I was like scratching my head like okay, why it's not working, why it's not working. After like sometime, then I used to come to know that okay, I'm not using this build.perform. If you don't use this build.perform, it won't work.
So
Okay.
build dot perform is a method, Subbu.
Yeah, this basically build is one method, and the perform is another method on top of that. What it will do is basically it will build this action, and then it will perform this action.
So from which class it is like it is coming? What is the class
Before
name that we are?
we can check this one actually. Let me check this one. Okay. So if we go to actions class, okay, so we have this build.perform is there. Just click on control button and click on this build. Okay, this is in within actions class, generates a composite action containing all actions so far ready to be performed. Okay, so we can have like multiple actions on this one. Okay, it will it will generate a composite action with whatever like you specify in this one. It will generate a composite action, and then perform will again perform also. If you see this one, this is from actions class only. Okay, so you have to use this build dot from both are from actions class only. Okay, yeah, and if you want to see anything like at any time like where that class is where that method is coming from, just click on this one, just put your mouse pointer here and use control button, and then click on that, and it will take you to that particular class. Okay, you
Okay,
got
sir.
it,
Thank you.
you got it,
Yeah,
Ankur?
yeah, I got it.
But remember that like always you use this build.perform for actions class. If you don't use it, and it won't work. Okay, so
Okay.
we always like
Okay.
forget this one because it happened like a couple of times for me. Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
so
previous to previous class also this happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what like we do for working, for moving our mouse pointer to a particular position. Okay, how do you double click? We have seen this one using double click method. Okay, a dot move to element, first we'll move to element and double click. Okay, so this is what this build does is, okay, we are using two actions here. One is, first we are moving to the element, and then we are double clicking on this one. So what does this build method will do? It will create a composite action here. Okay, that's what we have seen here, right? So here if you see this one, it generates a composite action containing all actions so far. See here, if you see this one, we are doing like two actions here. One is we are moving to the element, and one is we are double clicking that element. Two actions. So what does build will do? It will create a composite, it will generate a composite action containing all actions so far. So whatever the actions that we are doing here, it will create a composite action for all the elements. Okay, and then will perform that composite action. Okay, so perform a convenience method for performing the actions without calling build first. Okay, so I think since it is calling this build.perform, okay, we can directly use this perform itself instead of build.perform. Just try that one. Okay, see here build, okay, is one thing,
Okay.
and again perform is something. But if you see this perform method, okay, where this perform method is coming from, again this is from actions only. Okay, but if you see this perform method, again it is calling build method and perform. Okay, so instead of using this build.perform, we may use directly this perform method. Okay, just try this one if it works or not. You got the point here, right? I have
Yes,
never,
Abu, got it.
yeah, I have
Yeah,
never
got it.
performed directly. I have never used directly this perform, but I always use build.perform. But after checking this class, it is showing that it is calling build.perform, this perform method itself. So instead of using build.perform, maybe you can try with just directly perform.perform. So just try that. Okay. Okay. Now, how do you drag and drop an element in Selenium? Again, we use actions class. Okay, first we get the source and target, which are nothing but web elements. Okay, source and target, and we create an object for the actions class, and we use that actions class object for dot drag and drop. Okay, this is what we use, and we pass the source and target, and we use build.perform. Okay, we have seen this one. Okay, so now coming to the child windows. Okay, how do you move to a child window? How do we move to the child window? Anyone?
First, like we have to get in handle, and after that,
How do we get the
get handle,
handle?
and after
How
that,
do no the
yeah,
question
after
is
that we
how
have
do
to use the,
how
sorry.
yeah. So
So
first
these two
first we
methods,
have
these
to
two
get the
methods.
handle, right? No,
Yeah,
you said that first we have to get the handle. So the
yeah.
immediate question would be, how do you get the child window handle? You got it
Okay.
right,
Y-
yeah,
Yeah,
see, how do we move to a child window in Selenium? The question is, how do we move to a child window in Selenium? So your answer is, okay, we have to get the child window handle, and we have to switch to the child window. Fine, perfectly fine.
yeah,
And the next
yeah.
immediate question would be, how do you get the child window handle? How do you get it?
Uh, like by creating an action, first we will create an action like
No. Actions class is different one. Actions
no, no.
class is for working with mouse pointer.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm just
so the answer
connecting the
would
dot.
be, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Like I understand, what you mean, because when you actually go for an interview and try to explain for the first time, definitely you'll even though you have that idea, definitely you guys
yeah,
will get confused. Okay, that is fine. Okay, so the answer should be like, okay, how do we work with child windows? You have to say that, okay, we have to get the child window handle, and we'll switch to the child window using the child window handle. But how do we get the child window handle? Before opening the child window, we will get the parent window handle by using driver.getWindow handle.
yeah,
Okay, and then we open the child window, either clicking on a link or either clicking on a button, it will open the child window. Now we will get the all the window handles, because now we have two windows, so we'll use driver.getWindow handles method, and we'll get a set of the window handles which contain both the parent window and child window. So now we will remove this parent window from this set so that we will be left with only child window handle. And we'll use
Yeah.
iterator.next method on the set to get the child
Yeah.
window. So now we get the child window, and now we use driver dot switch method, okay, to move to the
Yeah.
child window. Driver dot switch to method.
So, iterator method, or we can also use, we can also, like you also suggested that we have to convert that
Yeah,
um,
to a
set
list.
into string. Sorry, string into
No,
set.
no, not set into a string, but we have to convert that set into a list, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
we can
list
use a
get
get
method.
method. Get method
Yeah.
on top of the list. Okay, you can
Yes.
do that one, but that will become like two lines. Instead of two
Okay.
lines, in one line you can write it like using iterator.next method.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, that's how we
yeah,
can do this one.
yeah.
Okay, so driver dot switch to dot, and then switch to dot window, and then we'll pass that child window handle, and we'll switch to that particular window. Okay, okay. Now, how do you move to a frame? We use again driver dot switch to dot frame, and we will provide that frame web element here. Okay, so, and we can move to a frame. Okay, how do you
I
move
think
back from the to the parent frame, or like, you know, how do you move back from a frame? What are the methods that we have?
I think it was like similar to Windows only, like so child window only.
Yeah, but like how do for frames, like, you know, suppose you are on a frame, you want to move
Yes,
back to a parent frame, or like, you know,
default content
yeah. So how
to
do we
Switch
do?
switch.
to default.
Yeah,
Yeah,
switch to parent frame is there, and also switch to default
yeah,
content is
Default.
there. Two
yeah,
methods are there. What is the
yeah.
difference between these two, parent frame and default content?
Parent frame is kind of an immediate frame, like
Yeah.
what is like it is next, but default is from where it has been, like the very first frame where
not
you
not
have.
the first not the first frame. Okay, parent. Okay, parent frame is you will come to the parent frame, the previous
Yeah,
frame. You move to the
yeah,
previous frame. When we
yeah,
have multiple frames with our, like, you know, frames inside frames. Okay, and if you use parent frame method, you will move to the parent frame, previous one. But when you use default content, it will come out of all frames. Okay,
yeah.
it will come out of all frames. Okay, you don't
Yes,
say that
yes.
you will come to the first frame here. You won't come to the
Yeah,
first frame. You will come out of all frames basically.
yeah,
Okay, okay. So how do you upload, like, you know, images in Selenium?
yeah.
How to
Like
upload
there will be
images in
two options. Like first, we have to identify whether it is an HTML code or CSS code.
yeah.
Accordingly, we will act.
How do you identify if it is an HTML one? If it is a
See the
normal upload?
If
yeah
the
it,
input
the
type equal to file.
yeah.
Sorry.
If the input type equal to
Yeah,
file,
yeah,
then it is
exactly.
the
When you inspect
raw
that
form of
element,
the upload.
yeah, when you inspect that element, and if you see it something like input type is equal to file, if you are direct, if it is directly highlighting this one, then it is a normal file upload. If it shows anything else, then it is a CSS, like, you know, file upload. And for CSS file upload, how do you what do you do to upload the images?
Auto IT I will be
Yeah,
using
yeah, we will use auto IT. If it is a normal file upload, how do you do that?
normal click.
Normal.
Like like we will do click button and upload.
How do we
Sorry.
do that? Like, how do we do it? Okay, let's say you inspected, you know, that element, and it is showing like input type is equal to file. So how do you
Yeah.
upload the image now?
Uh,
We will
if it is
directly
an
use send keys method.
And
Send
keys,
yeah,
keys,
and
yeah,
keys.
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
send
yeah,
keys, and
yeah,
use the path, full path of the image, full path of the
yeah,
image. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And if it is any other method, we cannot use send keys. So first we will click that CSS element, and then we will use auto IT script.
And
Okay,
then that
how
will
do you,
convert.
sorry, yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, after that we will convert that into the executable file and runtime. We'll use the method. called
Yes,
runtime.
yes, exactly, exactly. Okay, that's what we use. They may ask you. They won't ask you how do you create a script using auto IT. They won't ask you generally people won't ask you because it's a third party software that we are using, so people won't ask you in auto it what methods we have. Okay, so how do you write a script in auto it? No, they won't. No one will ask you that kind of question. Generally they ask you, what they ask you is, they will ask you, okay, so you have created the auto it script, now what do you do next? Okay, so you have to say that, okay, we create the auto it script, and then we'll create an executable file by compiling that auto it script. Okay, and we execute that auto it executable file using Java. So how do you execute that one? We have runtime dot get
Get
runtime.
run.
Yeah, runtime dot get runtime dot execute, exec method is there. Okay, there we pass this executable file and it will execute that one. Okay, not only this executable file, any executable file we can execute it using runtime dot get runtime. Okay, that is a separate class we have, but okay, that's what, like, you got the point here, right? What generally interviewers will ask and how you have
Yeah.
to explain them. Okay,
Yes.
so that is about this one. Okay, now, okay, uploading. Okay, which method contains methods to manage the cookies? What is this one? It is driver.manage. We have seen this one yesterday, right? Driver.manage.add cookie, delete cookies, all those methods we
Yes.
have seen it on top of this one. So it is driver.manage. Okay, so how do you add a cookie? We use like an add cookie method, delete cookie method, and delete cookie named method is there. How do we delete all cookies? We use driver.manage delete all cookies. Okay, how do you get a get cookie? So all these things, but even though I have created these questions for you, people, I haven't seen people asking much questions on these cookies. Okay, but just remember these things. I haven't seen so far, I haven't seen anyone asking me any questions when I attended, or when I interviewed any candidates. I haven't seen anyone asking me these kind of questions, how to get the cookies, how do you delete cookies, and all those things. But just remember. Okay, okay, now how do you disable push
Subbu,
note? Yeah.
with the deleting of the cookies in the Selenium script, what is the um, real time
Yeah, sometimes what might.
use of doing that? Actually, why we have to
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
use the delete cookies actually for the
yeah,
Selenium
yeah.
scripting?
Yeah, sometimes what happens is, okay, whenever you are creating a new browser object, we do it like using WebDriver equal to new Chrome driver or new Firefox driver, right? So
Yeah,
whenever we do it, okay, it will create a fresh browser. Okay, it
yeah,
won't
fresh
contain,
instance of the
yeah,
browser.
fresh instance of the browser. That means it won't contain any cookies or anything at all. It is a fresh instance. Okay,
Yeah,
but when you open any URL in that one, when you open any URL, okay, then it will start storing the cookies from that particular site. Okay, that's what we have
okay,
seen yesterday. Yesterday we have used
yeah,
the Trivango site, and once we open
yeah,
that one, we
yes,
started printing those cookies that it is storing.
yeah,
Okay, but sometimes in your scripts, what might happen is, let us say you have worked, you are working on some website which will store the cookies. You worked on that one. Okay,
mm,
you worked on that one, and you didn't close the browser. Again, you are working on the same browser. Okay, from the beginning. What might happen is, sometimes is, it will, since it stores the previous cookies, okay, it may give you the results from the previous cookies, but you may need again a fresh browser without closing that. Okay, let me explain you that one a little bit better. Okay, let me.
is it because people who work with different projects where the browser saves the cookies and
No,
if the
no,
carting, like
not with
shopping cart or anything,
not
to
with the
deal with the
different,
cookies?
not with the different browsers. Let me give you an example. Okay, okay, for example, you have a website, okay, and you are entering like this is the username and password you are entering. Username and password you are entering. Okay, the first time when you logged in, okay, you'll enter this one. But let us say, okay, your application has the ability to store this username and password in cookies. Okay, let's say this is login.html. Okay, you logged in and you did some work on this one. You moved to different pages and you did some work. And generally, like if you close this browser and open another browser again, you automation, since again it will be a new browser instance. Okay, it will ask you for username and password again generally. But let
Yeah.
us say you are not closing the browser, but again you are using driver.get method and opening this one, opening this login.html. Okay, but let us say your application is something like since it has already stored your cookies, okay, and it won't show you the screen. It will directly give you after login screen, this screen.
Okay.
If you close the browser and if you open a new browser using login.html, it may give you this login screen, okay, because it will open a fresh browser instance. Okay, but if you don't close your browser, if you directly try to open this one again, since it has already stored this information in the cookies, okay, it may give you this. But let us say you have to log in with a second user again, not this existing user. So in those cases, what you can do, you can directly delete the cookies. If you delete the cookies, okay, and then if you accept the, if you if you go to this login HTML, then it will show you this login screen again. You got the point here, what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so whenever you want to delete the existing cookies in the middle of your script, then we'll go for this delete cookies thing. But if you already close a browser and open a new browser, since automation always opens a new fresh instance, that won't give you a problem generally. But in the middle of the script, you may sometimes you may have to delete the cookies. It's very rare actually.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Now, yeah, how do you disable push notifications in Chrome? Okay, either for push notifications or for what is this one, either for push notifications or insecure certificates, we use options class, Chrome options or Firefox option. Okay, for disabling the push notifications, we will use, we have to first create an options class. Okay, and then we have to use options dot add for Chrome. It is hyphen hyphen options dot add arguments of hyphen hyphen disable hyphen notifications, and for Firefox it is ffo dot add preference dom dot web notifications dot enable comma pause. People won't generally whenever I'm asking people these questions how do you disable push notifications in using automation, then I expect people to say that, okay, we have to use options class. For Chrome, it is Chrome options. For Firefox, it is Firefox options, and we have to set the properties for that one. I won't expect them to tell me what this option is, because we can't remember there will be a lot of arguments that we can add for a Chrome options class or a Firefox option. Okay, but at least I expect them to tell, okay, we have to use Chrome options or Firefox options to disable push notifications. Okay, similarly, for accepting the insecure certificates, we have set accept insecure sets. Okay, similarly, how to accept insecure certificates in Firefox, it is again, we have to create a Firefox object class, and then we have to use set accept insecure sets, and then we have to pass that options object when we are creating the driver object. This is what we have to do. Okay, so this is about actions class, child windows, frames, uploading images, cookies, and Chrome options and Firefox options. Okay, any questions so far on this one?
It is clear, Subbu.
Okay, fine. Uh, we Okay, let's go into the next topic, which is synchronization. Okay, what is synchronization? Okay, so Ankur, earlier you have asked this one. Okay, so when I'm moving to your next page, it is loading. No, it is taking some time to load and it is failing. Okay, those kind of scenarios we handle them using synchronization. Okay, see, Java synchronization, we use like implicit wait and explicit wait to handle those kind of situations. Okay, but we'll see them. Okay, when you request a page to load, some of the elements of the page might take some time to load because of the because of like different calls. Like we may use Ajax calls, or they may have to be loaded from the server, so they may take some time. So some of the elements load slower than others. In these cases, we use implicit wait. Okay, let me show you an example here, and is this one? Yeah. Okay, so see, we have one element here. If you see this one, okay, so this is a different one. Display dynamic button is a different one. Okay, yeah. So if you see this one, delayed loading of element. Okay, this one example is for practicing this implicit way. Okay, delayed loading of an element. Let me refresh this one. Okay, see, delayed loading of element. It will take some time to load. Okay, see, now it loaded. Delayed loading. Let me refresh this one more time. Okay, if you see this one, delayed loading of element. After I think it's taking around like 5 seconds to load this element. Okay, so let me try to create a script. Okay, once I click on this delayed loading, it is showing an alert, and we have to dismiss this alert. Okay, that's our script. That's what like we have to do. So let me write a script for this one. Okay, id is equal to delayed button, and type this tag is button. So control C, okay, control F, and the tag is button. Shift at the rate id equals to, okay, so we are able to identify that element. So let me write a script for this one. Let me copy paste this one. Implicit wait. Where is, yeah, okay, let me remove all these things. Okay, so once I open this one, I would like to click on this delayed button. So this is the path X path that I have created. So driver dot find element by dot X path. Okay, this one dot click. Okay, so I'm clicking on this element. Okay, once I click on this delayed button, okay, it is showing an alert. So I'm saying driver dot. How do we dismiss an alert? Anyone?
Yeah, by using dismiss method
Yeah, but
after like
how do
man,
we
ma-
we have to
Windows dot
use?
manage dot.
No, not Windows.manage.
Mm.
We have to use driver dot. We have to switch to that alert first. Switch to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
alert dot dismiss.
yeah.
Okay. See, we will switch to a different place in mainly three areas. One is alerts, one is child windows, one is frames. Okay, these three places we use driver dot switch to. Okay. Okay, so
Okay, sir.
now we dismiss this one, and then finally we are quitting this one. Let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, so it should fail now. So see, it failed this one because element not interactable exception, and where exactly it is showing this error. If you go here, okay, it will show you what is this name, implicit wait, right? Implicit wait. So somewhere it will show you this implicit wait. Element is not interactable. Driver.window.magma, driver. Okay, fine. Okay, so if you see here, this is our class, right? Implicit weight Java. Okay, and if I go here, see it is showing the error here. Generally, like whenever it gives you any error message or exception message, okay, just verify this error message. Okay, so this is your class. In all these error messages, you have to check for the class that you have written. The class that I have written is implicit weight here. I think implicit weight is already an existing class. Let me change this class name. Okay, and I'll use like implicit weight ex example. Okay, just whenever you're creating a class name, make sure that like you're not using the class names that Java already provides. Okay, so let me run this one, run as Java application. Okay, now it will fail. Okay, so it failed. So okay, so whenever you see this kind of error, to find out like on which line that error is occurring, okay, we have to check for like which class like you are executing it on. You are executing it on implicit weight ex.java. So if you see generally that in the list of errors, you will see it in the last statement. So if you see here, implicit weight example dot java in 21 line. If you click on this line, then it will go to that particular line. For example, I have like somewhere in this place. Okay. Now, if I click on this implicit weight example 121, it will highlight this. And so it is failing it here. So why it is failing? Because it is not able to find this X path. Why it is not able to find this X path? Because it is taking some time for this element to be loaded. Okay. So now how do we handle this one? Okay, it is very simple. We use implicit weight for handling these kind of situations. What does implicit weight do? Okay, it will have some default timeout for the page to be loaded. Okay, so we'll say that, okay, before throwing an error, okay, wait for 10 seconds or wait for 20 seconds. And still, if you don't see that like any element is not loaded, then throw an error. Okay, so how do we do that one? Okay, so for that one, we have something called, after creating this web driver, we'll say driver. Again, we use manage driver dot manage dot timeouts. Okay, timeouts dot implicitly wait. Okay, implicitly wait, and we use long time and time unit. Okay, so here long time is the number of seconds that again it depends on the time unit. Let us say I would like to wait for 10 seconds, and here I have to mention whether it is seconds or milliseconds or anything. So for that one, I use time unit, dot, I'll say seconds, or I can say milliseconds, nanoseconds. I can use like multiple things here. So I'll use generally, we'll use generally seconds only. So I'm saying that, okay, once the driver object is created, once the driver object is created, once you are accessing the URL, wait for 10 seconds minimum before throwing an error. For example, I'm clicking on this one button. It is taking some time to load. Okay, so before throwing an error, wait for 10 seconds. Okay, so this is how this is a simple one. Just use driver.manage.timeout dot implicitly wait 10 comma timeout time unit seconds. Okay, so now let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, so now it worked fine. Okay, but it immediately like dismissed this alert. Let me give like some time here so that you can clear it. Thread dot sleep 2000 seconds. Okay, and let me copy this same thing after dismissing the alert. Okay, now it is waiting for the element to be loaded. Now the element is loaded, it clicked on that one and it showed the alert and it closed this element. Okay, and the thing is that let us say I'm waiting for 10 seconds here. Let's say I'm waiting for 100 seconds. What happens in this case? It won't wait for 100 seconds. Once the elements are loaded, it will immediately proceed. Okay, let me show you this one. Okay, let's say this element is taking 1 second to load. After 1 second, if this element is loaded, it will proceed further. Let's say it is taking 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, if it sees this element, it won't show you, it won't wait for 100 seconds. But what is this 100 seconds is for? It is the maximum waiting time. Okay, it is the maximum waiting time. It will wait for a maximum of 100 seconds. If this element doesn't appear within that 100 seconds, then it will throw an error. But if this element appears within 10 seconds, then it will proceed after 10 seconds only. It won't wait for 100 seconds. Let me run this one. Run as Java application. Okay, now it is waiting for the element to be loaded. Okay, see, it immediately, once it is loaded, it immediately clicked on delete button. It didn't wait for 100 seconds. Okay, so this time is nothing but it is the maximum time. Okay, okay. So, any questions on this implicit wait? Okay, fine. Now,
So the
yeah,
question is there, like
yeah.
how do we identify that whether which of the elements we should have put this implicit weight? Like how will you
No,
identify that in the different web
generally,
pages?
what we do is we always use this implicit wait when we are writing the script because we don't know which elements may load, may take some time. For example, you are working on some microservices application where it will contact, different servers for the information. For example, okay, you may have, I'm not sure, if you know about this microservices application or anything, but in the microservices application or some kind of applications will be there where on the web page you will see different sections. This is one section, this is one section, this is one section, this is one section, like this. Okay, and for populating this particular area of element, it may contact one server. Okay, and for populating the elements in this section, it may contact another server. Okay, similarly this is another server, similarly this is another server. So it depends on how fast those web servers respond. So these section elements may be loaded fast and these section elements may be loaded slow, or sometimes these section elements may be loaded slowly and these may be fast. Okay, so in these cases, we don't know, it depends on the servers. Basically, sometimes the servers may be receiving a lot of load. Okay, and these particular sections may be slow. So when you are working on the elements in these sections, you might see some slowness. Okay, so generally what we do is we'll use implicit wait always. Okay, we'll say that because it's the maximum time, it won't wait for all this time. So it waits for all the elements to be loaded on the page for a maximum of this time. So we cannot really say which element is taking time to get loaded. So but generally first, if you don't use without implicit wait, if you run the script, then you will see that okay, this because it will fail at that element, right? Definitely, if that element is taking more time, it will fail at that element. So you can see that okay,
Yes.
for this element it is failing. Then you will come to know that okay, let's use implicit wait. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So okay, yeah, this is about
There is
implicit
an
wait.
there is
Yeah.
an option also in that when you are doing the inspect, no? So
Mhm.
after console, there is an option called networks. It shows the timeout options there, like what time that page has been loaded. From
Yeah,
there, we can
that's
get
right.
an idea for that.
Timeout option. See, this one, again, it is based on the server only. Let us say,
Okay.
if different components are loading from different servers, sometimes the server one might be fast, okay, because it may not have any load, and server two might be slow.
Okay, we
Okay.
can't define that whether it is in constant.
Yeah,
It might
yeah, whether
always
it
varies.
may change,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay, got
even
it.
though you use the network tab, it will show you that how much time it is taking. but it's not needed actually. You don't need to go into network tab and see which element it is taking time. You don't need that basically. We can
Okay.
we can always use this one driver that manage that timeouts that implicitly wait and say that okay, for a maximum of 10 seconds wait, for a maximum of 20 seconds wait, because it is a maximum time. It won't take the 20 seconds always.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's say if all the elements are loaded within 1 second, then it will proceed further.
Yeah, yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay, so this is about implicit wait. Okay, now let us say after the page is loaded, and I'm doing some actions on the web page. Okay, these actions, okay, they may involve some ajax calls. Okay, I am not sure if you know this ajax means, what ajax means. Okay, but we have some calls. So what happens generally, let's say this is an dynamic display dynamic button. If I click on this one, okay, it should show a button here. Okay, but this button is taking some time. Okay, once I click on this dynamic button, then it will show me some alert. Okay, generally these also will be handled by the implicit wait only. Generally it will wait for the element to be displayed, but sometimes what happens is the implicit wait also won't work in these cases. Okay, then okay, generally implicit wait it is for page loads. Okay, once the page is loaded, okay, and then you are doing some actions on the page. Okay, when you are doing those actions may take some time. For example, I'm clicking on this button, display dynamic button. I'm expecting a button to be displayed, but it is taking some time to display, right? So in those cases, if I try to click on this dynamic button immediately, okay, then it will throw me an error. It will throw me an error. Just give me 1 second. Okay, it will throw me an error. Let me show you this one. Okay, for the time being, let me comment this one. Okay, let me I'll take another example. Explicit wait. Okay, so in this explicit way, let me comment this one. Let me, yeah, so let me find this inspect dynamic button. Okay, let me inspect this dynamic button. Okay, button ID, Control C, Control F, button. Okay, dynamic button. Okay, let me copy this one. Okay, and then I'm saying I'm using this one here, dynamic button. Okay, so I'm clicking on this. Sorry, first I have to click on display dynamic button, right? So let me inspect this one. So display dynamic button, and this is again button. Control C, and before this one I'm saying driver dot find element by dot export. Okay, so first I'm clicking on opening this page, clicking on display dynamic button. Okay, so I'm clicking on this display dynamic button, then I click on dynamic button, that means this button, and once this pop-up appears, and then I will click on switch to that alert, and I will dismiss that alert. Okay, this is my script. Let me run this one and see what happens. Okay, see what happened? It clicked on this one. It clicked on, that's why it appeared, but it immediately tried to click on this dynamic button. Okay, so it is an explicit wait example. See, it is throwing an error here because it is not able to find this dynamic button. Okay, that's why it threw an error. Okay, because it is taken. Generally, whatever the implicit wait that you use, it will handle these situations also. Let us see if it is handling these situations or not. Okay, let me run it one more time. I have added the implicit wait here. Okay, let me run it one more time. Yeah, so your implicit wait is taking care of this situation, but sometimes what happens is even the implicit wait won't work here. Okay, for the implicit wait is generally for the page load. Okay, but sometimes your implicit after the page is loaded, we are doing some actions here. Okay, after the page is loaded, we are doing some actions here. So for those actions, okay, these are the external actions, not with the page load. These are the external actions that we are doing on the page. For those ones, okay, even this implicit wait may not work. Okay, the implicit wait may not work. In those cases, we have to go for explicit wait. Okay, in those cases, we have to go for explicit wait. Do you guys understand like this one? Okay, let me show you this one. So okay, now the script is failing here, right? Okay, the implicit, let's say like I have disabled this one, okay, because implicit wait is handling this one. I want to show you how to use explicit wait. Okay, now I'm trying to click on this dynamic button. It will throw an error saying that the button is not visible. Okay, or we cannot interact with the element, or element not found exception, anything. Okay, so in those cases we will go for explicit wait. So how do we use the explicit wait? For that one, we have a class called WebDriver wait. Okay, it is WebDriver wait. Okay, I'm saying like something like wait object. WebDriver wait is a class. Okay, and equals to new WebDriver wait. Okay, and then we have to pass the driver object here. Let me import this one first. Okay, import WebDriver wait. Okay, import this WebDriver, right? And then we have to pass the driver object and the number of seconds that we would like to wait for that element. Okay, I'm saying that, okay, I'm creating a driver object and the maximum number of seconds that I can wait is 20 seconds. Okay, now I will say that using this WebDriver wait, I will say that wait for this element for a maximum of 20 seconds. So I'll use wait. We have something called expected conditions. Okay, wait dot until, we have to use until function. Wait until, okay, and how much we have to use an expected condition here. So for that one, we have a class called expected conditions. Dot what is that expected condition? Okay, we have multiple expected conditions here. So I'll show you like some of them. Element. Okay, so if you see here, we have multiple things. Element selection state to be element selection state to be element to be clickable. Okay, we have to wait until we can use this one. Or element to be clickable, we have the web element here. Okay, or element to be selected, we have multiple things here. Okay, you can try like some of this, but generally like what we use the visibility of the element, and the other one is element to be clickable. Okay, so let's use this one, element to be clickable, and pass the web element. So I am passing the web element here. Okay, so we have to use WebDriver class here, and we have to create an WebDriver wait object first. We have to create. Okay, WebDriver wait is equal to new WebDriver wait, and we have to pass the driver object and the maximum number of seconds. After we create an WebDriver wait object, and we can use the expected conditions. How do we use them? Wait dot until, and we have class expected conditions dot, we have a lot of methods, and we will use element to be clickable or visible, something like that. Until the element, we can wait until we can click that element, or wait until that element is visible, like that we will use this one. Okay, element to be clickable of driver dot find element. So we are passing this web element. That means we are saying that wait until this element is clickable and then click on this element. Okay, you got this one? So we have, just remember this one, we have to create a WebDriver wait object by passing the driver object and also the maximum number of time in seconds that we have to wait. Once we pass this one, then we have to use the expected conditions on this object. How do we use the expected conditions? We use wait dot until expected conditions dot. We have a lot of expected conditions. What are those? Some of them are element to be clickable or visibility of the element. Just like, try like, the other things if you want. Okay. But mostly we use visibility of the element or like, element to be clickable. These two things we mostly use. Okay, element to be clickable, and then we pass the element here. So we are saying that wait until this element is clickable for a maximum time of 20 seconds and then click on this one. Okay, now let us run this one and see like if it works. Okay, now run as Java application. Okay, so it waited for that element to be clickable and then it clicked on that and it dismissed the alert. Okay, so any questions on this one? Explicit wait. Anyone? Okay, fine. Okay, so now we have seen this implicit wait and explicit wait. Okay, so what happens like, in this case really when we are using an explicit wait, what happens? What happens is when we are creating like, this driver object, we are saying that wait for 20 seconds maximum. So when we are using these expected conditions, it goes and checks for this element, whether this element can be clicked or not, for every 500 milliseconds. In implicit wait, I think it is 500 milliseconds. Okay, so for every 500 milliseconds, sorry guys, for every 500 milliseconds, it goes and checks whether this element can be clicked or not. Okay, so this is the maximum time. 20 seconds is the maximum time. So for every 500 milliseconds, okay, it goes and checks whether this element can be clicked. If this element can be clicked, let's say after 1 second, okay, it can be clicked. Then after 1 second, it will come out of this one and it will click on this element. Okay, so this is explicit wait. There is another wait called fluent wait. Okay. Okay, there is another one called fluent wait. We have seen these two things now. Okay, implicit wait and another one is explicit wait. Okay, these are the two things we have seen. Okay, so implicit wait, it waits for the page this is for page loading. Okay, this is for elements on the screen, and for every 500 milliseconds, it checks for the expected conditions, whether the expected conditions are met or not. There is another wait called fluent wait. We don't use this one. Okay, but I will just tell you the difference here. Fluent wait, okay, here this the time, this time interval is constant, but in a fluent way we can define this time interval. For example, we can say that check for every 200 milliseconds or check for every 2 seconds, which is 2000 milliseconds. Like that we can define this time interval. That is the difference between explicit wait and fluent wait, but we don't generally use this one. Okay, we will always go with the explicit wait. Okay, we use this default time thing. Okay, but in explicit wait we can use this time, we can set this time. Okay, the question can be on this explicit wait and fluent wait. Okay, so I would like to use a wait condition where I can define my own intervals of time. For example, every 200 milliseconds, I want to check whether the expected condition is met, or every 2 seconds, I want to check whether the expected condition is met or not. How do I do that one? Okay, then you can say that we can use fluent wait for that. Okay, so that is about synchronization. Okay, any questions on this one? Implicit wait and explicit wait.
So there is no any specific conditions where we can use any of those. Like it can be our choice, right?
Yeah, it can be it can be your choice, because you can use element to be clickable, or you can use alert is present. Okay, if you are expecting an alert, and if that alert alert popping up, the alert is taking some time, then you can use alert is present. Okay, and
Okay.
attribute contains, if you want wait for an attribute, so there are multiple things. Okay, generally we'll go with visibility of the element, or element to be clickable, but you can see element to be clickable, you can pass this one. Okay, most of them we haven't used this one, but mostly it is like element to be selected. Yeah, if it is a checkbox and we are waiting for the checkbox to be selected before proceeding further, you can use an element to be selected. Okay, and we have invisibility of you can use this element, you have to wait for the invisibility of that element, you can use this one. So like this, you have multiple options you have. Okay, I showed
Okay.
you one of these, but you can try the others. But it really depends on the situation, what kind of element, or what kind of element state you are expecting. Okay, you may not be seeing you may not be able to practice all these different things on a single element. Okay, it depends on the element state basically.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so this is about synchronization. Okay, always try to use this implicit wait in your scripts. Okay, so this is the default one. If anything that cannot be handled by implicit wait, then we will go with explicit wait. Okay, and also try to remember how we create this explicit wait object, and how we use these expected conditions. Okay, so that's about implicit wait and explicit wait. Okay, now okay, JavaScript executor. Okay, so I will cover some JavaScript things here. Okay, let me go into this one. Implicit and when you request a page to load, some of the elements of the page might take some time to load because of the Ajax calls, or they may have to be loaded from other servers. So some of the elements load slower than others. In these cases, we use implicit wait. Implicit wait is global. It applies to all elements. Once the page is loaded, we will do some operations which involve calling some services through Ajax, and these will take some time to load. For example, in Amazon shopping cart, when we add an item to the shopping cart, the number of items in the cart will increase. This is done by Ajax calls, and the whole page won't be refreshed. Only the number in the cart will change. When the servers are slow, or because of any other issue, this may delay appearing of the new elements, and these will cause problems to the script. We have to use explicit wait for this. Explicit wait is for a particular element. We will say the script to wait until some expected conditions are met. Okay, for example, an element to be clickable, or an element to be visible, etc. The explicit wait keeps on checking until the expected conditions are met for a particular time, and these expected conditions are met, it will proceed further, otherwise it will throw an error. Okay, and this is the example. Okay, now let me go into the JavaScript executor. Okay, so what is a JavaScript executor? Okay, so in Selenium we use the locators like id, export, css selectors, and all these things, right? But sometimes these locators can't identify the elements. For example, in an auto suggest, the elements can't be identified, and in those cases we use JavaScript executor to get the values from the elements. Okay, so what happens is, we have seen multiple element locator techniques, right? One is using the id, by name, by XPath, by CSS selector, by link text, by partial link text, by tag name, and all those things we have seen. But sometimes what might happen is these locator techniques may not work. Sometimes it happens rarely, but sometimes these locator techniques may not work. Okay, some of the examples are for example, if you see Google, or Let me open this one. Okay, red box started. Okay, for example, I'm typing like Bangalore here, so it is showing like all these different elements here, right? It is showing all these different elements in this one. You say it is the places that it is suggesting. So we may not be able to get these values using this Selenium locator techniques. In those cases, we go for JavaScript. Okay, so whatever you cannot do in Selenium, we use JavaScript. Basically, that's what you have to remember. Whatever we cannot do in Selenium, we use JavaScript. Okay, so in Selenium we use locators like id, name, xpath, css, selectors, etc. But sometimes these locators can't identify the elements. For example, in an auto suggest, the elements can't be identified, and in those cases we use JavaScript executor to get the values from the elements. Okay, so I think I have, yeah, I have this JavaScript basics here. I will cover these basics first, and then we'll see the JavaScript executor tomorrow. Okay, okay. So okay, this is just a basic example that I have given. Okay, JavaScript executor is an interface that helps to execute JavaScript through Selenium WebDriver. Okay, we'll come to this one, but let's go to the JavaScript basics. Okay, so yeah, in JavaScript, okay, we have some methods, the basic methods. Okay, you need to know these basic methods in JavaScript. Okay, suppose we want to find an element using JavaScript. We use JavaScript, sorry, document dot get element by ID, and we'll provide the ID. Similarly, by using name, using document dot get elements by name. Just remember this one. This is only element by ID. This is elements by name, which gets an array. Okay, similarly, elements by tag name, elements by class name. These are the four methods that you have to remember in JavaScript. I mean, once you understand this one, then you'll be able to proceed with some more methods in JavaScript also. Okay, if you face any situation when you are really working on a project, then there will be a lot of examples in Google. Okay, but at least the basics you have to understand these methods. Okay, for example, okay, so I have where is this one? Yeah, let me close this one. Okay, okay. Instead of you locating it by Selenium locator technique and entering some value into this one, I can use JavaScript to enter some value into this text box. How do I use that one? First, let us click on that and go to inspect. Okay, and then go to this console here. Go to this console. This is where you can practice your JavaScript. Okay, in the console you can practice. So I told you that I can use document dot what is that? Synchronization is done. Let me close this one. Okay, I can use document dot get element by ID. Okay, once I get that element, I can use dot value. Okay, dot value method to enter something into the text box. Okay, let me show you this one. So the let me check this. Okay, the element ID I have, ID I have. So let me copy this ID and come to this console. Now I use document, okay, dot find, sorry, not document dot find, not document dot get element by id. Okay, you see this one, document dot get element by id. Okay, so I got this one. Now in brackets I'll provide the id of that one. Okay, I have provided this one. Now, okay, let me enter this one. It is not a listener indicator. Sorry, yeah, it took some time actually. So if you see this one, document.get element by id, it returned this element. Input name is equal to first name, id is equal to first name, class is equal to beautiful text box, type is equal to text, right? And it is highlighting this one. Okay, so we can use this JavaScript document. So okay, what does it mean by document in JavaScript? Document refers to this section. Okay, whatever the web page that you are seeing, that refers to document refers to that section. And JavaScript, we have a method called get element by id. Okay, and you can pass the id using which you can get this particular element. See, it is showing like input name, first name, something like this. Okay, now you can use like on this one. Okay, let me okay, so now this is the one. Okay, and then you can use dot value. Okay, dot value equals to, we are setting up this value property. This value property is nothing but the text like that is entered into this text box. Okay, so dot value equals to, let us say, Selenium. Okay, and if I press enter, see, Selenium is entered here. Okay, so I can use document dot get element by id, pass this id, and dot value is equal to the whatever the value that you want to pass into that. Okay, so this is by id. Okay, now let us say we have a name property, so we can use like name property also. Okay, so now let's go to this console. Okay, I will say document, okay, dot get element. Okay, see, it is showing get element by name. But if you see here, this is get elements by name. Okay, get elements by name. It is not for id, it is get element by id, but for name it is get elements by name. So I'm using this one. Okay, first name. But since this is get elements by name, okay, it returns a node list. It's kind of like an array list it returns. Okay, so we have to use again the indexing here. Okay, you remember, right? In array list we have the indexing 0 1 2 3 like that. Okay, so I would like to get this first one, so I'm using in square brackets we have to use 0 1 2 3 something like that. Okay, so and then we can use dot value, okay, equals to, let's say, Java. Okay, see, Java is set. So you can use dot elements by name, but again you have to use the indexing to go to the particular element. Okay, so that's one thing. And another one is tag name. Document dot get elements by tag name. So this is again a list, get elements by tag name. Okay, let's give the tag name as input. See, it is returning a HTML collection of 52 elements. Are you able to see this one? It is showing this one, 52 elements it is returning. So I would like to enter something into the second text box. So I will say 1. Index is 1. So second text box, it is highlighting the second one if you see. And then I will say value, okay, equals to, let us say, something like tutorials. Enter. See, tutorials is entered. Okay, and the other one is documents get elements by class name. Okay, so let us say in this one, for the first one itself, I have class name beautiful text box. Okay, so let us find an element by using this class name. Okay, so I'll say document dot get elements by class name. Okay, and the class name is beautiful text box. This is what we have. Okay, and it is returning a collection again. Okay, so let us use the first one in this one. So it is highlighting the first one, dot value equals to, let us say, Subbu something, and I enter this one. Say it is entering Subbu. Okay, so these are the methods. Just practice these methods. Okay, these are the basic JavaScript methods I'm telling you. Document means the entire body section like that you see here. This is what it refers to. Okay, and get element by id get elements by name, get elements by tag name, get elements by class name. Get element by id, it returns only one thing, so you don't need to use any indexing here. But get elements by name, get elements by tag name, get elements by class name, these return a list. Okay, so we have to use the indexing to go to the particular element that we want, and then we will use the attribute value equals to something. Okay, so these are the basic JavaScript functions that we use. Okay, so just practice this one. Okay, practice this one. Okay, let me show you the basic example on this JavaScript executor. So by the time you come tomorrow, okay, you can practice this one as well. Okay, that's one. I think I'll cover this one tomorrow. Yes, because we'll be left with only JavaScript executor and also working with the tables. So with this one, by tomorrow, this core Selenium will be completed, and the next day I'll start with this page object model and Excel operations as well. But I'll give you an exercise now. Okay, so work on that exercise. Okay, the exercise is okay. You have already installed that car rental website, right? So go to that car rental website, which is http://car rental. Okay, go to this website. Okay, once you go to this website, it will appear the home page, right? Homepage will appear. In the home page, you have to make sure that this home page is displayed. How do you make sure that home page is displayed? Okay, just check for this one, find the best car for you. Just check for this text, and if this text is there, that means we are on the home page. And once you check this one, then click on this about us link and verify that this about us page is displayed. How do you check this one? Just verify this about us is displayed, about us text is there. Similarly, go to car listing, verify that this car listing is there. Similarly, go to fax, verify that fax is there. Go to contact us page, verify that contact us is there. Okay, that is the exercise for you. Okay, any questions?
So you want us to check this by JavaScript or by Selenium
No,
only?
no, no. By Selenium only,
Okay.
not JavaScript, because once you just write one script, okay, which will just open this web page, and on the make verify that you are on the home page. How do you make verify that you are on the home page? You just verify that you are seeing this one. Okay, so
Okay.
and then go to this about us page and verify that you are on the about us page. Go to this car listing page, verify that you are on the car listing. Similarly for fax and contact us. You
Okay,
understand
got
the
it.
exercise? Okay, because if you do this one, then it will be useful for you when you are working with test ng.
Okay,
Okay,
sure.
when you are working with the test ng, then that will be useful for you. Okay, and yeah, tomorrow this course will be completed, and I will start on the next day. I'll start with page object model. It won't take much time. Excel operations, it may take, but these two can be completed in one class. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay, and any questions? Anyone? Any questions?
So this JavaScript is like we have to install it, or it is already installed in our system?
No, no, no. Okay, yeah. Let me explain you this one. This one also, this gives you just some background on this one. Okay, so originally, sometime back, I mean, in now also, okay, you might have seen these kind of situations where you have a web page, okay, and let us say you are registering for something, okay, register, where you have to enter name, okay, or first name, okay, last name, okay, and some other details. And then finally you have to submit this one. Okay, and let's say you forgot to enter this one first name, and you click on submit button. Then it will show you an alert, JavaScript alert. Okay, saying that it will show you an alert saying that okay, not all the details are entered, or first name is not entered, something like that. Okay, you'll see those kind of things, right? Okay, this can be a front-end validation, browser validation, or this can be a server validation. That means, okay, even though you don't enter this first name, if you submit this one, so it will send all this information to the server, and okay, server on the server side code, it will recognize that okay, first name is not entered. Then it will throw something an error on the page at the top or somewhere saying that okay, first name is not entered. Okay, that is a server side validation. But on the front end also, we can do some validation using JavaScript. So JavaScript is totally for front end originally. Okay, but now we got like JavaScript server side JavaScript also, which is nothing but node.js. Have you guys like heard about this node.js?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this one is a server side JavaScript. This is a server side JavaScript. Okay, originally it was not there. We had like this JavaScript that was used only for browser side validations. But later, I think one guy, I don't remember his name, that guy has created this node that server side JavaScript, and started giving presentations at different places. And he created like this node.js. It was not popular at that time, but after that, people have created something called npm, okay, which is used for downloading and installing, just like Maven. This is also a collection of like all the different JavaScript libraries. Okay, after creating this npm, then it became very popular. Node.js is very popular now, just like Java or Python. Node.js is also very popular. So now we have the server side script also. But originally, we used like JavaScript only for front end validation. That means you haven't something front end. Then it will show a pop-up saying that okay, please enter the first name, please enter the last name. So that is JavaScript basically. And in our case also, we use this front end things only. For front end things only, we use JavaScript. Okay, anything that you cannot do on the web. See, basically what is Selenium? Selenium is nothing but working with a web application. We work on the web pages. If you can't do something on the web page, then we will go for JavaScript. Okay, for now, at least know the basics of this JavaScript, like whatever I have told you, like the four methods, just learn them. Okay, so these four methods, like whatever like we discussed, these four methods, learn them. Okay, but in future, if you get like anything else, there will be like lot of help that you can from like Google or anything like that. Okay, that won't be a problem, because like when I worked in my previous projects, I got like some complicated situations where I couldn't do it with the Selenium, but I used JavaScript, and all that code is like readily available in Google. It's not a big problem for you guys, but at least you have to know the basics of JavaScript. You have to know how to test that code. Suppose like get some code from Google, but first of all you have to test it, or you should be able to modify it to use it in your script, right? So you have to know how to test it, how to modify it. Okay, so if you know these things, at least these basics, then it will be easy for you like to modify or to test this one. How do you test it? Just right click on that one, go to console, and in console you can test JavaScript. Okay, you don't need to have like any other tool or anything like that. Just in the browser console itself, you can test the JavaScript. Okay. any other questions, Ankur?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from anyone else? Okay, yeah, I think that's all for today. So we will speak tomorrow. Let me close this one. Stop.